I don't know how, but Epomaker has done it again. They have built a keyboard that beats everything else in this price range. Hall effect switches, 8000 Hz polling, gasket mount with 5-layer sound dampening, all wrapped in a beautiful wireless 75% form factor that costs $80. I literally just finished reviewing the TH80 V2 Pro, which I've been using for the past 3 months, and I've been loving it. But as soon as I started using this, I quickly chucked away my old one. This one has such a nicer build quality. I mean, it still has an outer plastic shell, but it's got more heft to it. It definitely feels like a more premium keyboard. Towards the front edge, we have some RGB accents diffused with a crystal channel, which looks really cool. It's honestly giving G.Skill Trident Z Royale vibes, and I'm all for it. Aside from that, the keyboard itself is RGB backlit with south-facing PCB, and with the default transparent keycap set, it looks really nice. Usually I'm not a fan of transparent keycaps, but this set looks really nice with the keyboard. However, I do have a set of PHOS keycaps that I want to try later in this video. These have a chalky matte finish with an anti-slip coating. It also has side printed legends, which I like, but the edges are translucent, so it will allow some light to pass through. I'm actually very excited to see how these will look on the keyboard. But anyways, back to the board. So we do have a 75% layout, which is my preferred form factor because I can't live without the dedicated arrow keys. We also have a full set of function keys up top and a modular knob on the right, which can be programmed for various use cases or removed and replaced with additional keycaps if you have no use for a knob. Now, the biggest difference between the TH80 V2 Pro that I've been using for the past 3 months and the HE75 V2s are no doubt the switches. These are equipped with the Epomaker Creamy Jade Hall effect switches, and they sound thocky. There are also 5 layers of dampening gasket mounts inside this keyboard. We have an FR4 plate, a sandwich foam with a dampening sponge, and a bottom silicone to prevent the hollow sound from each key press. The board itself is hot swappable, so you can swap out the default switches with another set as long as they're compatible with Hall effect switches. And honestly, if you're buying a keyboard in 2026, I wouldn't buy anything unless it has Hall effect switches. These are the fastest type of switches on the market because they use magnets instead of physical metal contacts to detect each key press. That means the key can register much earlier in its travel, and you can even adjust exactly where it actuates through software, making it feel much faster and more responsive than a traditional mechanical switch. So if you're a competitive gamer, a Hall effect keyboard is a much better choice compared to mechanical. Pair these Hall effect switches with an 8000 Hz polling rate, and you've got an insanely responsive keyboard. It basically tells your PC what you're pressing up to 8000 times every second, so your inputs register as quickly as possible with the least amount of latency. And if you're trying to climb the diamond like I am, then you know how every single millisecond counts. Playing the finals on this new board feels more responsive. My movement is fluid, switching between my gadgets feels snappy, and I just overall do much better in one-on-one fights as a result.
One tap, nice.
Good.
Okay.
Got one.
Zipline and Ed should never use a portal.
Ooh. Good RPG. Below R.
Right here, right here.
Oh yeah, off the roof.
He's inside, one tap.
Yeah, I'm moving left. Feel free to grab the box area.
As far as battery life, we have a massive 8000 mAh battery in here, which got me about a full week's of use with the RGB lighting maxed out. And playing without the lights put me up there around the 2-week mark. Like most keyboards, you do get adjustable feet in the back. However, I always recommend using a wrist rest for the best comfort for your hands while using the keyboard. The USB-C port for charging is located on the left side of the board, which is perfect for my setup since I have my charging dock located on the left. Whenever I need to juice it up, I simply pull on one of the cables and plug it in. This way I can still use the keyboard while it's still charging. What's cool is that you can actually check the current charge of the keyboard by simply holding down the function and pressing the space bar. And the numbers 1 through 0 will light up, indicating the percent of the board that's charged. You can, of course, select from a bunch of cool RGB effects directly from the keyboard, or you can connect the board to their web-based software and choose from there instead. This is also where you can update the firmware and configure other settings like the keybinds, macros, along with rapid trigger. With rapid trigger, your key instantly resets the moment you release them, and you can adjust the distance through the software as well. Okay, let's swap the keycaps now and see how they look with the PHOS set. Oh yeah, these are definitely my personal pick, you guys. As much as I like the transparent keycaps, I feel like the RGB lighting was just a bit too much for me personally. And if you're into that kind of stuff, then stick with the default keycaps. But if you want something more minimalistic with subtle RGB accents and side printed legends, then definitely pick up the PHOS keycap set. Now, if you want to take it to the next level, TMR is the next step up. Think of it like upgrading from a Ferrari to a Formula 1 car. Let me break it down real quick. Okay, so you got Hall effect keyboards, which can tell exactly how far you've pressed the key. Then you got TMR, which uses a more advanced magnetic sensor to measure that movement even more accurately. And it's more power efficient, so you get a longer battery life as well. Think of Hall effect switches as a regular ruler, and TMR is a laser measuring tool. Both measure distance, but the latter gives you a more accurate reading. Ultimately, TMR keyboards are faster, but not by much. I mean, unless you're a competitive gamer, you probably won't even notice the difference. The good thing is the HE75 V2 comes in both variants. You got the standard option and then you got the TMR option, which is a bit more pricier. Another benefit of TMR is that it's compatible with both magnetic and mechanical switches, so you can easily swap between them whenever you want. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely loving my time with the HE75 V2. If you guys are in the market for a competitive keyboard that sounds amazing, I highly recommend checking this out. I'll drop a link to it down below.